Good morning, everyone. It's bright and early here. Well, it's 9 a.m. where I am sitting. This is part of our bee collection, our summer bee collection, and there's three different sizes in this file. So I've already painted this large, this is the largest bee, and you can see his cute little tag. Buzz says, "Be happy." So we're going to be painting these cute, cute bees. And this is part of our bee collection. And here is the beehive. And this is the beehive that we are going to be painting later today or another day. And then, oh, here, let's show the two smallest together. So the large beehive and the small beehive. The small beehive says, you can see that. If I can focus, it says sweet bees. Hey, everyone. This is Robin from Center Street Decor, SVGs and more, where I design laser cut files I design SVG files for your laser, your Glowforge laser, or your other laser printers. Also, the SVGs can work on a Silhouette machine or a Cricut machine because it's a SVG file. And let's get busy painting our bees today. So I'm going to bring you down so I can show you what we've got going on down here. I can bring you a little bit closer. Try to keep you straight. Okay, so here is our buzzing bees. So when I painted these bees, for some reason, I started painting my black on the wrong lines. My black got on the wrong lines, and so that's why this little baby bee, he has got extra stripes. So I just improvised and add some extra stripes on this one. But normally this is the amount of stripes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 stripes. This little one got a few little extras. But he's still just super cute. So this is our chunky bee file. And so what a chunky bee is, this bee will stand up on his own. So if I lean him a little bit sideways, so what I'm doing is just taking him sideways. There are 3 layers to him. And then the mama bee will stand on his own, whichever way you want to rotate him, either left or right or however you want to do it. Okay, so here's the chunky bees. So this is what we've got. We have 3 layers here. We have the bottom layer, the middle layer, and then the top layer, and it has the lines to show you where to go ahead and paint. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get this guy going, and you only have to paint the top layer. And again, with the chunky files, if you only want to do 1 layer and not make him chunky and just put him on a tiered tray, that would be super cute too. You don't have to make him chunky if you don't want to, but this is an option. So, and then the bees have 3 different tags. So it has the honey lover, and then the other tags are the buzzing around and the be happy. So if I'm going to turn them so that you can read them a little bit better. So here's the 3 tags that come with this set. And the bee also has a darling flower. And there's 3 sizes in this set. I've already done all of the work for you, all of the sizing for you. So when you get the file, you just either cut out the large, small, or medium, or all of them. So let's go ahead and get busy painting our bee. I'm going to put these pieces aside, and I'm just going to start and go ahead and paint my stripes on my bee. I have some water here. I like to use a little bit of water with my painting. And here's the wings. I didn't point that out, but here are the wings. And the wings have been cut out in 1/8 inch wood. So my layers that will go on my bee, my tag, and here's my flower. So, oh, I just realized I put the medium flower on the baby bee instead of the small flower, but that's okay because you can mix and match. We're going to put this one on here. So the pieces, when I do the layering pieces, I like to cut those out in the 1/8 inch wood. And then when I cut out my chunkies, I cut them out in 1/4 inch. It's not true 1/4 inch, but it's close. They call it 1/4 inch. So that's how I like to do my layers. Let's go ahead and get this bee painted. And it's pretty quick and easy paint. There's not a lot to it. So I'm just going to pick up some of the paint and I'm just going to paint. And I usually do about 2 coats. I'm going to pick up my little reader glasses. They've been sitting here, but they help me to have a closer view of what I am painting. Now you can see that we have the lines. So it just kind of shows you where to go. And I just be kind of messy with the lighter color because when I paint over the black, I try to get a little bit, I try to stay in the lines with the black, but the lighter color I do first, and I don't worry about staying in the lines. And then if you want, you can actually go in and clean out some of those lines. If you want those lines to show up a little bit more. But we're actually going to do some shading on this bee. So when we do the shading, you don't completely see those lines anyway. So, okay, let's just set that aside to dry. This is a quick and easy. So what I like to do is I like to do a finish the back side, the very back side of my bees. So if you can see here, oh, I got some white paint on. I like to just give it a kind of a finished look here. And instead of the raw wood, you can do whichever you like, but I like to just take a little bit of burnt umber paint. And then I have a baby wipe here. And I'm just going to dip it in there. And then I just kind of dab it different places. And then I just rub, just blending that color. So I'm not doing a solid coverage, just kind of a quick go over, just to give it kind of a finished look. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with the back, and that's it. I'll just set that aside and let that dry. And then let's work on our wings. And I decided to do, you can do white, but I decided to go ahead and do this antique parchment. It's an apple barrel. Hey, Valerie. Hi. How are you today? So I'm making a bee. Did you see my cute little bee? These are well, this is the baby bee. This is the mama bee. Cute, huh? I'm painting my bees today. How's your weather? I actually threw on capris today. First time I've thrown on capris since I don't know what. Oh, let's see. Oh, you had thunderstorms. So, oh, hey, Heidi. Yep, painting bees today. You had those thunderstorms. So, yeah, it kept Shiloh awake. Oh, darn it. Yeah, probably wanted all the comforting, huh? Okay, so I just rinsed that paint out of there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and paint. I'm going to paint my wings. And these will need 3 layers of paint. So we're just going to kind of do just kind of some quick painting on here. And you see I've got that score line dividing the 2 little wings here, but I don't worry about cleaning it out. no, jumped on your head. Oh no, I'm sure that was not pleasant. I'm so sorry. Oh, he was scared. You know, Shiloh doesn't like those thunderstorms. Oh, I remember when we lived over there in North Dakota and the thunderstorms. Yeah, I mean, you're in Minnesota, but we had them right there next door. Okay, so let's give this one more coat. I'm just using the same brush. I've just used an angle brush. I like to use those angle brushes. They're just really handy. Just going to pick up this paint. And the paint I'm using, this is Valspar. I just purchased it from Lowe's. Um, Essential Gold is the color of this one. You can also do yellow if you like the yellow. So this one, here's a bee um, that I just painted. I actually used paint pens on this one. So if you're not a big painter and like to use paint pens actually work really great too. So this is just paint pens on here. He's super cute too. So not worrying about staying in the lines because we're going to cover that with some black. The black is going to cover this lighter color here. So, okay, so this actually dries pretty quick. So we can go ahead and do another coat on our wings. And like I said, we're going to need a good 3 coats because whenever you're using a lighter color, it needs more coverage. So just kind of some quick coats on that. And if you end up painting with too much water, if you have too much water on your paintbrush, then you may need to do even an extra coat. But I usually try to tap on my paper towel to let the paper towel absorb some of that water. So I'm not using too much water, just a little bit with my paint. Okay, let's let those dry. And while we're letting those dry, we're going to work on, I'll show you how we do the tags. So you can see that the tag is got this engraving on here. And we want to be able to still see the engraving once we paint it. And let me show you how we do that. I'm actually going to use a sponge. These are just makeup sponges, and I cut them into quarters. So we're going to use our lighter color that we used on our wings. It's like an ivory color, but it's called Antique Parchment. Okay, so just picking up some of that paint, and then I'm tapping it off. So that way I don't have very much paint on my sponge at all, just a little bit. And then when I paint on my tag here, I'm going to tap very, very, very gently. So very, very gently. Because you want to try to keep that paint from going into those engraved areas. So just dabbing just very, very, very gently. And this will need a few coats as well. Okay, once I even drag it just a little bit. But again, almost no pressure at all. And I just drag it just to kind of fill in those areas that I didn't. And then I'm going to tap it again. Okay, so that's going to need a few coats. And we're just going to set that aside and let that dry. Okay, so we have our, let's see, I need the flour. So the flour is actually going to be a yellow color. And this is just an Americana paint, cadmium yellow. So this is the yellow that I'm going to use, but any yellow you have, or if you want to paint your flower a different color, that would be cute too. So I'm just going to put some paint on here. And again, I'm just going to grab another piece of sponge. I'm actually going to put on some tape. You can see I have these little circles here. These are the circles that go inside our honeycomb for our beehives. So we won't worry about painting those right now. We'll paint them when I paint the beehive. But I just wanted something for my flower so it would hold still while I paint on it. Well, I just tap it up and down. And there's not any score marks or anything on here, so you don't need to worry about that. So just give it a little bit of coverage. And the tape just holds it so I don't have to put my fingers on top of the flower to hold it steady. Okay, let's come back to our wings. So I'm rinsing my brush and I tap it off on my paper towel just to get rid of most of that water. Okay, so this is probably going to be our final coat. So when I do the final coat, I am going to try to make all of my lines kind of go the same direction. Just pulling them all in one direction so I don't have so many lines on it. And I can see through that a little bit, so we might need to do a fourth coat. And that's okay because we want some good coverage. A little fuzzy on there. Okay. We'll set those aside. Okay, this looks like it's about dry. Let's go ahead and go over that one more time with our sponge. Picking up just the lightest amount and then tap again very lightly. Set that aside. Okay, I think we're ready to paint our black on here. Let's grab our black paint. I think I'll grab just a little bit of a smaller brush. Still just kind of using that angled brush. I usually don't leave my paintbrushes in the water too long because then I find all of this gets, if I leave it overnight, the paint will start chipping off. So I just usually, after I rinse it, I just put it on the side. I guess you have these holes too you can use, but I usually just put it off to the side. So remember, our wings are going to cover a good area. So that's why I don't worry about getting it nice and neat on this area right here. Let's go ahead and paint our bee. So I have those lines, and those lines are just a guide. It just kind of shows me where I need to paint, just like if you were coloring in a coloring book. I'm just following that line. And then I turn it around and I follow the line again. And if you go a little bit outside the lines, that's okay. We'll do the end down at the bottom, the little stinger area. Okay, so now that we've painted our little bee, we can just let that dry a bit. And I am going to do one more coat on our wings. But let's paint our flower. Just going to dab it on top. And sometimes I use sponges, sometimes I use the paintbrushes, so whatever you like to use, sponges or paintbrush. You can even sponge the wings instead of painting them with a paintbrush. That is just fine as well. There, that looks better. That gives it a little bit more of a solid coverage. So I just kind of paint it all over. And then once I get a solid painting all over it, then I just kind of do some quick straight strokes just to make it a little bit more even. Oh, Eli's eating veggie straws. Yum. Yum, Eli. Can you hear Grandma's voice? Are you wondering where Grandma is? You can hear Grandma, huh? Okay, we might need to do one more coat of the black, but that needs to dry a little bit more. Okay, so one thing that I like to do is sometimes when my edges get, when I get paint over the edges, if you want, you can just leave it like that. Oh, that's so cute that Eli keeps talking to me. Okay, so I'm just going to use, this is just a brown paint marker, and I'm just going to go over the edges. And it just cleans up that white. It looks like you didn't even get any paint over the edges. Some people like to take a baby wipe and then do a quick wipe while it's still wet. But this is the way I prefer to do it. Just clean it up. Okay, now that we have that, we're actually going to do some shading. You can see my bee here. I've got a little bit of shading on this mustardy color. I've shaded my my tag here, and then also a little bit on my flower. So we're going to do some of that shading too. So once these dry, we're going to shade just a little bit of blue on his wings. This is dry, so we can go ahead and shade our tag. And this is probably my favorite color just to do my shading with, is the nutmeg brown. Just kind of a medium brown color. So I'm going to put my paint there, and I'm actually going to get probably a little bit of a smaller brush. Let's grab this one. I don't know if it helped. This is a number 8, but I know that different brands have different size numbers. So it's just kind of just again, an angled brush. That's my favorite brush to paint and shade with, as you will learn. So I'm just taking my brush, getting it wet, and then tapping off some of the water. And then when I do my shading, I'm just going to tip just a little bit of paint, and then I'm just going to work it just a little bit, just to let that water and then that paint, just so it has a little bit of an ombre look. That's kind of what I'm going for. And then I just brush it. Just going to brush it on both sides. Okay. While this is dry, let's do a little bit of black in some of these areas that need to be filled in a little bit more. I realized I grabbed my larger angle brush, so I need to get a little bit smaller if I'm going to get in between. In between my stripes on my V. Excuse me. Okay. So these look good and dry, and you can still see that line on there, where that scored line. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I can see it. So then that kind of tells me where I need to do my shading lines. So I am just going to use, this is just sky blue. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my tray. So again, I'm just going to tap that water off my brush. I'm going to dip the corner of my brush in the paint, and then I'm just going to blend it. So there's still quite a bit of water on my brush. Not a lot, but. And then I'm just going to just start in one area and then just start pulling the color around. Okay, let's pull the color around here. And then where I have that line, I'm going to go on both sides of that line. Okay. So there is, you can see one wing. I've just done kind of just a light shading on there. Okay, we're getting there. I'm going to go do a little bit more shading here just to try to even out so I have that inner line is a little bit darker. So I want the other line to be just a little bit darker too. Okay, so there's the shading on our wing. And I just did just a light. You can go as heavy as you want or as light as you want. And that's our wings. Let's add a little bit more paint to our flower. Okay. And then once that dries, we can do some more shading on there. So while we're letting, a little bit more shading on our edge areas here. And that's with our light brown here, our nutmeg brown. Okay, our little tag is done. We can start assembling our pieces. So here's the back. And then I'm going to sandwich the middle piece on here. And I've just got my stick fast glue here. Put the middle one on. And then just feel with your fingers just to make sure everything is lining up. Okay, once I feel everything is lined up pretty well, then I go ahead and just give it a nice firm push on here. Okay, let's do a little bit of shading on, just going to do a little bit of shading on the mustardy color, the essential gold. Up the corner and then just blend. Okay, just flip it around and then I'm going to do the other side. Okay, so that's all the shading that I'm going to do on my bee. Let's see how this is doing. That looks like it's ready for some shading. So again, I'm going to take my just a smaller angle brush here. Just get it wet. And then I'm going to tap just the little teeny corner in our brown. Blend it. And then I'm just going to take it on the tip and then pull around. There's hardly any paint on there. Let's get a little bit more. So the tip, and just kind of pull it to this, just to the edge of that petal. Just keep rotating your flower until you've got all of those petals done. Okay, so it has just the slightest bit of shading on there. Oh, got to see. Valerie was saying, oh, you got to call some of your students. Oh, love you, Valerie. Have a good day. Thanks for hanging out with me for a minute. Oh, sorry. I just noticed you're just seeing my hand at the hand right in the camera. Oh, what's Eli saying? Oh, you're making it rain, Eli? Do you want it to rain? You don't want it to rain because then you want to go outside. Okay, so once I have my darker, we're going to do a little bit of lighter, and it doesn't take much time for that to dry. So we're going to dip just the corner in our ivory color here. I keep saying ivory, that's not the name of it, but it is an ivory color. Okay, so now this time, for me, I'm going to start at the base of the petal and then just kind of pull up and around. The base of the petal, pull up and around. And just kind of going to the top of that flower petal. When you feel like you're running out of paint, then just rinse your brush again. Pick up a little bit of white paint and then just blend again. So from the bottom of the petal, up and around. One more petal, up and around. Okay, so our flower is almost done. The last thing we want to do is just add some dots to the center, just to give it a finished look. Let's see, I think we can glue this together. Let's go ahead and finish our gluing with our bee. Again, just feel with your fingers, just to see if everything feels flush. Because you have a few seconds to work with this glue. And it's just super glue, so, excuse me, so if you get it on your fingers, you will definitely feel it. Oh, go outside and play. Love you, Heidi. Have fun outside, Eli. Are you going to take the umbrella outside? Going to take the umbrella outside? Have a good day. Love you guys. Let's go ahead and glue our wings on. Okay, so again, just fill on the edge here, just to line it up. Okay. There we go. Oh, and you see I have some white paint, which I probably should have done this before I glued him onto the bee, but it's okay. I think I can still get that coverage on the inside. I don't have much paint in the tip of my pen. I can hear. You can also use a Sharpie marker. Works just fine too. If you don't have a brown paint pen. I've done that quite a bit too. Just done a Sharpie marker. Yeah, so good idea to clean up your wings before you glue them on your bee. It's working fine, but not ideal. Okay. Okay, that looks a little better. Okay, so here's our bee. We've got our flower, and then we're gonna do honey lover on this little guy over here. We're gonna put this bee right here. So I am gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of ribbon. And then to get it through the hole, you can use like a piece of wire. This happens to be it's called a bead tool, which you can use to string beads, but we're going to use it to pull our ribbon through, because normally I don't use this thick of ribbon, so it's a little more challenging to get it through because it's pretty thick to get through that hole, but you can do it. Okay, once I have it through that hole, I'm just going to tie a knot. Okay. And then I'll just take and just fold my ribbon in half. Once I fold it in half, that's the tricky part. This one is being a little stubborn. Okay. And then I'm just going to trim that one. This one got a little wonky. That looks better. Okay, so just decide where you want to place all of your pieces here. Oh, we got to do our little dots in our flower, huh? And we have to put his eyes on too. Okay, so we are going to, I just got this stylus stool. It's just from the Dollar Tree. They have those stylus tools. So I'm actually going to dip the end in my white paint for his eyes. And then I like to do a tester to see kind of if I like that size or not. So I'm just going to just dab it on there. Okay, so here's mine. They're a little uneven, and I don't mind that at all. So don't be afraid to just dot little dots for his eyes. Okay, so we are going to do our dots, and I'm going to use the other end. It's a little bit smaller. We're going to use that in our brown paint. So I usually I'm tapping 2 or 3 times just to give a few different sizes of dots. There. Whoop, whoop. So we've added some dots. Oh, I just stuck my finger in my blue paint. There. So we just added some dots on our flower. And yep, I got blue paint on my finger. It's okay. We've got a baby wipe right here. Okay. This project is almost complete. So it's going to take a little bit of time for these dots to dry. So just give them, just 10 minutes or so. So try not to bump them. But we're going to go ahead and just add our finishing touches to our bee. I can still see that this is kind of cut. Kind of funny. There. So I think I'm going to do, and consider if you're going to stand up your bee, maybe so you have your words straight. So if you stand him up, kind of see where you might want to put your word. So I am going to put him right here. And one thing that helps, if you purchase the honeycomb or the beehive, you've got the honeycomb, and these little pieces are helpful for risers to put behind here. If you feel like you want to lift up your tag to glue it onto your bee. Just optional idea. I think it's going to be just fine without it though. So we're going to add some glue. And I also add where that ribbon is because it's kind of it's the highest point. Add some glue to our flower. Okay, let's just let that sit in there. I don't want to push where those dots are. But that is our bee complete. He's super cute, huh? He is super cute. So now we have our little bee collection complete. We've got the largest bee. And remember with this bee collection, you have 3 different tag words. So this one is the buzzing around, and then this one has be happy, and then the one we just did right here, this is our honey lover. So here are our 3 bees all finished. They are super cute. So these are super cute on a tier tray. They're darling as a shelf sitter for your June, if you like to decorate for summer for any type of bees. They're cute on an entryway table. Just so fun. I just love these little bees. I think they turned out so cute. And they're a quick and easy project. So if I wasn't talking the whole time, you could see that I would probably be able to make several of these in the time that I was explaining things to you. But anyway, they're super cute. Do you love them? Oh, I love them. I love the bees. So I'm going to come back either tomorrow or later today to do our cute little beehives because they look really cute with our bees. They coordinate together and they're just a fun summer decoration. I just love them. So anyway, um, so I'm Robin with Center Street Decor, SVGs and more, where I love to design files, SVG files for your Glowforge or other laser printers. So if you're catching this on the replay, say hi to me. But anyway, I hope you have a fabulous Wednesday. We'll talk to you later. Bye.